And welcome back to the Andrew Cooperrider Show, your source for Kentucky politics. I'm joined by Rob Holdsworth. Rob is the legislative chair for the Kentucky VFW, and he had reached out to me and started talking to me regards to a bill, House Bill 39, that is very concerning to me. Should be concerning to anybody who cares about our veterans. Rob, thank you for joining me and taking some time to inform us on what's going on with House Bill 39.
Thank you very much for having me. So as I detailed in the email that I sent you, last year, the state of New Jersey passed some protections for veterans into their state law that essentially require folks who conduct for-profit, paid operations to assist veterans with processing their Veterans Administration, their VA claims. Folks that do that sometimes, are often, hopefully, are very ethical and are only in it to help the veterans. Unfortunately, there have been instances where people charged excessive or unreasonable fees, and I can define that later in the discussion. And the state of New Jersey passed a law that said that if you're going to provide this paid service, you need to disclose to the veterans that you're assisting that everything that you're doing, all these services are available for free from veteran services organizations, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, AMVETS, etc. So you can, veterans can get these services free of charge from a veteran service organization. They have to disclose that that's available. And then they also, in accordance with 38 United States Code and Chapter 38 Code of Federal Regulations, they're capped on the fees that they can charge. And we can get more into the details of that. But basically, what we wanted to bring into the Kentucky Revised Statutes, what the state of New Jersey has done, which is to say that you can't charge unreasonable fees and you have to tell veterans that the services you're providing are available for free somewhere else.
Okay,
And
so to sum it up, I just want to make sure everybody's following along. So we have companies out there offering to help people with their veteran benefits, and they charge a fee for it. However, these same offers of helping you with those benefits are available for free through other organizations. And so the bill simply requires that those who are doing it for a fee disclose that if you don't have the money or don't want to work with them, there are people who offer the same services for free to help the veterans out. Is that accurate?
That 100% accurate. And
Okay.
I would add that the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs, the KDVA, also has claims agents who will provide these services for free. So if you don't want to pay, a lawyer or someone in the legal services industry, there's a government claims agent who's available to assist you through the state of Kentucky, or you can go to a veteran service organizations. Both of those are for free. And that we wanted to require these people to let people know that. And then, like I said, the biggest thing is to cap the fees that they can charge. And so in federal law, like I was referencing before, 38 U.S. Code, 38 Code of Federal Regulations, they are capped at charging 20% of the benefit that they obtain for the veteran. So the bill that we filed and that the state of New Jersey has already passed, and we emulated that in the bill that we requested. All we asked for was for the Kentucky Revised Statutes to emulate what the federal cap is on reasonable fees. And a couple of legislators took our bill and changed it to water down the disclosures so that the disclosures are not as robust as what we had wanted. But more importantly, specifically, a veteran, I'll give you a scenario. So a veteran, the VA, when they assess, how sick or injured you are, incident to service, they assign you a percentage. For instance, at one time I was rated as a 30% disabled veteran, which is pretty common. If they rate you at 100% disabled, which is to say that, your injury or your illness is such that you can't work, then there is a $3,500 a month compensation attached to that. So for a Kentucky veteran, under our bill, a Kentucky veteran who went from 0% disability to 100%, that $3,500 a month payment, let's say, for instance, it took them 6 months to process the claim, which is pretty standard. Our bringing the federal cap into that would have capped it at $4,200, what the paid claims agent could charge to this veteran for assisting with their claim. In that same scenario, that Kentucky veteran who goes from 0 to 100% disability gets that $3,500 a month benefit from the VA. They changed our bill to say that would be the agent could charge them 5 times that. That would be $17,500.
That's a
And what
pretty
I'm
big.
describing,
That's a pretty
yeah,
big difference. So the bill you put forward says, hey, look, I don't know how much work goes into assisting with the claim, but I have to imagine it is probably less than, let's say, 80 hours worth of work. I'm just grabbing a number, but the reason why I grabbed that number is because, $4,200, that's a fair amount of money. I mean, that's enough to pay even a high paid person, 2-3 weeks worth of salary. And so obviously it's probably taking less than 80 hours worth of work in order to actually get it filed and taken care of, especially if you do this. I mean, I'm sure they have some automated processes that they do. And so, but now to expand that, so New Jersey has this in place, $4,200, right? Is that what their cap is too? Right?
they don't quantify it. The bill that we put into, I'm quantifying
You're quantifying
it.
it for this example, but in this same example in New Jersey, would it be the same amount?
Yes,
Okay.
What New Jersey did and what we want to do. Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, has these for-profit people who are helping with the claim, have they packed up and left New Jersey?
No,
Okay, so they still are making a profit then at that 4,200
that's
in
a
this
great point.
situation.
Well, that's a great point, is that nobody at any point in this process, whether it's New Jersey, Kentucky, nationally, nobody has said that there's anything wrong with, charging a fee to assist with a veteran's claim if somebody wants to come to you. What we've said is that there's already settled law, federal law, that covers this, because this is a federal process. Even the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs that will assist you with this, they're assisting you with a federal claim. Okay, so this is a federal process. Whether it's the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs, the Kentucky Veterans of Foreign Wars, Legion, whatever, that's assisting the veteran with this process, whether it's a paid claim agent, this is all federal benefits, and so it should be governed by federal law. And what we asked for was that the Kentucky Revised Statutes reflect that, so that, for instance, if a what we call a claim shark, someone who charges an unreasonable or excessive fee to assist a veteran in this scenario, that the Kentucky Attorney General could pursue them under the Kentucky Revised Statutes.
Right. The only reason to pass it as a state law is to engage state resources in going after these people. And
Exactly.
So you can be served better. It's still illegal for people to do this, but the hard part is getting them, getting the attention of the federal government to take care of it. But if you can have the attention of your state government, because it's also their jurisdiction now too, it provides more opportunities for veterans who, by the way, let's just remind everybody, was willing to make that ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms, but to protect their benefits that are offered to them because of that service that they did to our country.
Well, and in this scenario, I would add that, let's say, for instance, you got a guy who's in Tennessee. I live in Bowling Green, close to the border with Tennessee. Fort Campbell is down close to the Tennessee border. If you've got a Tennessee veteran, why would a claims agent in Tennessee be able to charge less than a claims agent in Kentucky? Why would we allow a claims agent in Kentucky to charge more than federal law allows? It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. And so this bill seems to make a lot of sense, but you said they grabbed a hold of it. They've upped the amount, so on and so forth. We'll be digging into that. We're coming up on a break, Rob, but stay with me, because we'll keep, digging into what's going on here, because it sounds awful what they're doing, and I'd love to hear what their motivations are. But we'll have that after this short break. You're listening to the Andrew Cooperrider Show, your source for Kentucky politics. And you are back with the Andrew Cooperrider Show, your source for Kentucky politics. We've been digging into the House Bill 39, a bill in the Kentucky legislature dealing with the regulation of something called claim sharks, people who are charging fees to offer services to veterans to help them grab their federal benefits. But there's been a history of them charging too much, not disclosing that individuals can seek this same help for free from other places. And so there was a bill put forward, House Bill 39, that apparently mirrored some legislation over in New Jersey in order to tamp down and get the Attorney General to be able to get involved in enforcing what is federal law here in Kentucky for those of our veterans, those who have been willing to make that ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms, and to help make sure that they're protected from being scammed, from being taken advantage of. And I'm being joined by Rob Holdsworth, who's the legislative chair for the Kentucky VFW. And Rob, I know we were talking before the break, but so this bill seems straightforward. Seems like something everybody should support. This is obvious. But what's happened with the bill since it was originally proposed?
A last meeting of an organization called the Joint Executive Council of Veterans Organizations, JECVO for short, JECVO. It's a collaboration of 25 veteran service organizations in the state of Kentucky, representing about 45,000 veterans. They passed out a letter from some of these for-profit claim agencies. There's a company called Veteran Guardian, company called Vet Benefits Guide, National Association for Veteran Rights. They've got, very innocuous sounding names. But they were thanking the representatives who changed our bill. And, looking into it, the only thing that I can think of is that, they want to charge more, they want to make more. I mean, it's to their benefit.
What changes did they make to the bill?
So our federal cap that we want is, 20% of what you get for the veteran. You can charge that. In the scenario that I presented, it'd be $4,200. They specifically changed that to, instead of 20% of that benefit, the quote unquote claim shark could charge up to 5 times that amount. So in that scenario that I presented, instead of the $4,200 that they could charge under federal law, they could instead charge $17,500. And that's very bothersome to me. I want to give you a little background. Down here in Bowling Green, I study to be a veteran service officer because there's a lot to it. There's a lot of law, policy, and regulation you have to know to help people effectively. We have a man down here named PR Webster. PR is probably the best VSO in South Central Kentucky. He's a Vietnam veteran. He assisted last year over 1,200 veterans and families for free. He conducts regular in-person visits at the Butler County Extension Office, the Scottsville, Litchfield, and Franklin VFWs, the Bowling Green VA Clinic, as well as American Legion posts in Auburn, Seabury, and Bowling Green. And PR and I also visit the Warren County Jail once a month to do veterans justice outreach with incarcerated veterans to help them learn how to access their benefits, so that once they complete their sentence and re-enter society, they have that assistance to make sure they don't become recidivists. So there's a public good here being provided by guys like PR Webster. And one day when I was sitting with him, we had a Vietnam veteran come in. This man is in his 70s, experiencing some health problems. And what he described to us was that, back in the 60s, he was drafted. He went to basic training. He went to Vietnam. He completed his service. He got out of the Army and never really thought about the Army or the military again. Don't have to. Did what he was asked and went back to his life. But now he's having health problems and he wants to seek help from the VA. So he came to see PR at the American Legion in Bowling Green. And as I was listening to his story, I want to protect this elderly gentleman from people who might listen to his story and say, yes, sir, absolutely, I can help you. And I'm going to take $17,500 of the benefits that I get for you. That's going to come to me and not you. And that rubs me wrong. And I want to avoid that.
Well, I mean, to kind of sum it up, what you're describing is they're offered these benefits. So in the situations we're talking about, it's things like if somebody comes along and start seeking benefits, and it takes 6, 7, 8 months for them to get those benefits. What these people are helping them with is that backdated benefits that they're owed, or the increase in benefits that they currently have, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah, and
so
that's
I don't think anybody should disagree then that those benefits are owed to them based upon the benefits offered to them in compensation for, serving to protect our freedom, serving in our military, so on and so forth. It is crazy that this is being offered as a free service elsewhere. And, based upon reading the changes to the bill, so they moved it from 20% of whatever the increase is. That's where you all wanted it at. So, if the benefit increase is $1,000 a month for 6 months, then it would be $1,200 that they could charge. But they changed it to fees shall not exceed 5 times the 1 month increase in benefits. So if the increase in benefits is $1,000 and it was 6 months of $1,000 backdating, so they got you 6,000. Well, 5 times 1 month is $5,000. So they take $5,000 of a $6,000 increase in benefit. It seems monstrous. Why is it that our legislature suddenly has decided to up the caps? Why did they change the intent of the bill from protecting veterans to almost enabling a higher than federal law even attack on our veterans?
what really frustrates and disheartens me about that is that it comes down to pure Frankfurt politics. And the legal industry, the legal services industry, has a much stronger lobby, a paid lobbyists. I'm on vacation from work today. I took vacation to do this interview. I do the legislative work that I do for free. I'm a volunteer. All of us are volunteers. The paid lobbyists for the legal industry in Frankfurt have a much more influence. And what really frustrates me is, let's take, something that you've talked about on your show, the drag queen bill that just went through. The proponents, the people in favor of the drag queen bill, were given far more time in the House and Senate Veterans and Public Protection Committees than the Joint Executive Council of Veterans Organizations. JECVO got zero time to talk about why we wanted to maintain the original language in our bill and why it should not change. We were there. We asked to speak. We were told we were going to get a chance to speak, and then they ignored us. And I do want to give a shout out though. There's one legislator, Senator Mike Wilson. He's a Marine veteran from Bowling Green. He's a member of my American Legion post. He voted no. Out of this entire process, he is the only veteran in Frankfurt who publicly supported us, and I want to give him a shout out. Mike Wilson is a good man.
Just it's unfortunate that the sacrifice of our veterans doesn't have more weight in a legislator's mind than the lobbyists coming from the legal industry, who are the ones collecting up a lot of these fees. And it's certainly unfortunate that if the veterans are sitting here saying, look, this is not good for us. And by the way, this is also federal law, that we can't get our state legislators to fall in line with that. And you bring up the point about federal law, and we don't have much time, but what's real interesting is the people who voted no and initially failed. It ended up being brought back and passed, but that was a bill regarding child labor laws. And the people against that, the people who voted no, that initially it failed in committee, voted no because they said it was more permissive than federal law. And so none of it makes sense what they're doing. But Rob, thanks for coming on. What do people need to do? They need to call their legislator and say, hey, stick with the original language of House Bill 39. Is that what they need to do?
We either need to restore the original language, which I think is very unlikely at this point, or we just need to table the bill. Yeah. And we would ask people to call 1-800-372-7181. That's the legislative message line, and tell your representative and senator to either table House Bill 39 or restore it to its original language. Also, any veteran or veteran supporter in Kentucky who wants to get involved in advocating for veterans legislation, send me an email, kyvetlegislation@gmail.com. That's KYVETS legislation, all one word, @gmail.com. And we'll add you to our database when we ask people to either support or oppose veterans legislation.
Great. Thank you, Rob, for joining me. We'll have to have you back again next time we have a piece of legislation that needs to be addressed for the veterans. But thanks for joining me. And to the rest of you, thank you all for listening to the Andrew Cooperrider Show. We'll see you back here Monday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you then.